महोदय, आपका व्याख्यान हम लोगों ने सुना। आपने एक एक विषय वस्तु को लेकर के एक सामान्य तौर पर जो हमारे भारतीय निधि है उसको आपने स्पष्ट करने का प्रयास किया, उसको आलोकित करने का प्रयास किया और उस पर किस तरह से कार्य किया जा सकता है इसको आपने स्पष्ट करने का प्रयास किया। और ये निश्चित रूप से जो सुधी प्रशिक्षुगण हैं उनके लिए यह उपादेय सिद्ध होगा। आप हमारे कार्यक्रम में यहाँ पर आए, इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत आभार। उधर तकनीकी कुछ समस्या है, इस कारण से सर का संवाद पूर्ण रूप से नहीं हो पा रहा था। अब हम इस कार्यक्रम में आगे बढ़ेंगे। So it is our great pleasure that the next guest who will introduce the Introduction to Buddhist Sanskrit, a language course for beginners. He will be here for 1 hour to train on this topic of MOOCs. So on behalf of Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow, New Delhi, India, we are welcoming Professor Vimal Hewangme. Professor Hewangme, he is a professor at Department of Buddhist Studies, University of Colombo, and he has versatile and he is dynamic. He has dynamic personality. So we are hopeful that we will be here for 1 hour with such enthusiastic, and we will learn much more which we have expected. Professor Vimal Hewangme, you are cordially invited to present your lecture. Professor Vimal Hewangme, unmute your mic.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Bipin Kumar Jha, and also the organizing committee.
Hello.
So, Professor Ipu, we can hear you. Yeah.
Now I think sir.
Bipin.
Yeah, sir. No, it is quite okay. You may introduce and welcome the guest.
I welcome Professor Bimal. Actually, we are preoccupied with several activities. My DRC in the Department of Political Science is also going on since morning. So off and on, I'm here and there. But I was just waiting for Professor Bimal to come and speak. मैं चाहूंगा कि एक बहुत बड़े विद्वान है, one of the greatest scholars. Recently, a few months back in March, I was invited in Sri Lanka in one of the seminars, and I met Vimal. It was really enlightening to see him. So I welcome on behalf of the Department of Sanskrit and Vedic Studies, Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, to this occasion. And I'm sure that Professor Vimal will tell us something very unique. He keeps on traveling throughout the world, and he is constantly is discussing and debating with scholars from cut across disciplines. So once again I will welcome Professor Vimal. Please, and the mic is hand over to Dr. Bipin to initiate the whole process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have already invited Professor Vimal Hewangme. Now it is over to him.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Sudan Singh, for during your busy schedule joining for us to introduce me. I'm very happy to see you all. So last March we met you, and also I had a nice time in April. Throughout the April I was in India. So that is my great pleasure to join with you all and share some understanding regarding to introduce Chinese Buddhist sorry, Chinese, because I got my PhD from China, so there are some I introduced some Chinese courses here. So we are willing to talk about something, how to introduce Buddhist Sanskrit introductory level program anywhere, with my personal experience as well. So can you see the PPT? I have already shared my PPT. Can you
Yes, sir.
see
Yes,
that?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Yeah. Okay. So then, this is not basically introduction to the Buddhist Sanskrit. The objective of this discussion is to give some hints to prepare kind of basic level Buddhist Sanskrit course. Maybe 6 months, or it's up to you. So we can think about the duration of the course unit and all those. So as an introduction, I would like to share some, because I'm not much familiar with Google Meet, because we are always using here Zoom. So allow me to learn this carefully. I'm not sure how to move to the next slide.
You need to just click on that next slide, which is reflecting inside. Yeah.
Not working. Stop there. Which one? It doesn't work like that. Give me one second.
Okay. No. You need to go on your PPT. That is not on Google Meet. The window where you have.
Okay. Okay.
That one.
Is it okay now?
Yes. Now it is
okay. So then here, I think now it is very clear for you, right? Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Quite clear.
So very beginning, I would like to give some introduction to the languages. Here you can see the number of languages in the world. In that sense, we are very rich. As Asians, we have to be proud, because within the world languages, there are more than 80% languages are in Asia. So one of the oldest and very beautiful languages among them is Sanskrit. So you can see the African numbers, and also the America, and also the Europe. So this is also a good thing we have to think. That Asia is kind of power for the languages. We are more strong, more stronger considering that language area. So this is just a sample map. You can see that there are a number of Indian languages here. So there is also one example to think about for all of us, how we have contributed to the world as Asians, precisely the Indians, right? So these are the numbers of the world 10 languages, but we can't see that Sanskrit there, but we can identify there are many languages which has taken good enough influence from Sanskrit. Even Russian as well. Once I remember, Dr. Bipin organized a conference regarding Sanskrit language influence for the world languages. On that day, I remember I gave a small speech on Sinhalese, our mother tongue. That is the key language. We can see the influence of the Sinhalese. At the same time, I remember that there are a number of speakers during that time when they presented Russian and also the other languages, Thai and so on, how they got the good enough influence from Sanskrit language. So we are talking about such a very valuable and useful historical language, which was created and also developed by India. So now let's move to the other area, because I'm going to talk something about Sanskrit focusing on Buddhism. So you can see here, this is the one of the great religion which was introduced by great Indian Gautama Buddha, the Siddhartha, and then it was spread throughout the Asia very beginning. Now today, all over the world. At the same time, I would like to say that this tradition is one and only tradition as a religion or the philosophy, precisely religion, Indians introduced for the all other worlds. It means this is the one and only foreign religion you introduce to the world. So you have Hinduism and also the other number of religions in your great land, but remember this is the one and only foreign religion from South Asia to Far East Asia, so up to Japan. So therefore, this is very interesting, your contribution. In this sense, you can see that very beginning, we all know that Buddha used the Pali as his preaching language, and then it was spread to the Far East Asia, and then the nearest countries just after the Third Buddhist Council, it means 3rd century BC to 4th century BC. During that time, Buddhism was introduced to South Asia and also the Southeast Asian countries. Precisely those days it is called Suvarna Bhumi. Today maybe Myanmar and also the Thailand. So we also received same time under the missionary work organized by the great Emperor Ashoka. So all those Buddhist traditions, Theravada, we identified as Theravada, they used Pali as their religious language. Then you know that after the first century, the Mahayana tradition was started, and then they used for their religious activities Sanskrit as the language. So then at the same time, around 8th century, or just after 7th century, we can see that Vajrayana tradition was introduced to the world, and then they also most probably used Sanskrit language. So therefore, if we like to know about Mahayana in detail with its historical significance, definitely we need to know Sanskrit language. That Sanskrit basically we identified as Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit. Anyhow, that is the kind of branch of the great Sanskrit language. So in here you can see in this map the South and Southeast Asia near to Indian borders. So then and also the Tibet. So you can see that the Vajrayana tradition, the Central Asia, and then the Far East Asia, China, Japan, and Korea. You can see that Mahayana tradition precisely. At the same time, some part of the Vietnam as well. So Theravada, you know that that is in the South Asia and also the Southeast Asia. So in this sense, so it is very clear that learning Sanskrit is very useful for understanding Sanskrit Buddhism. I highlighted here Sanskrit is the source language of Northern Buddhism. Sanskrit is the source language of Northern Buddhism. Some early Theravada schools and Vajrayana also, they used Sanskrit language. For example, Sarvastivada tradition and also the Sautrantika tradition. These two traditions are also the part of the old Staviravada, but they have used Sanskrit as their religious language. And also the literature focusing on Sanskrit, Sutra, Shastra, and Tantra, all are in Sanskrit. Therefore, this Sanskrit awareness may be very useful for us to learn Mahayana Buddhism and also the Vajrayana tradition. Most Mahayana Buddhist sects emphasize one sutras, let's say the Lankavatara Sutra, Mula Madhyamaka Karika, Avatanchaka Sutra, Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, Hridaya Sutra, Praktyaparamita Sutra, and so on. So, therefore, in the early period of Mahayana Buddhism, they precisely used Sanskrit as their religious language. Even in China and also the Korea and Japan, they use Sanskrit as their religious language. And Tibet also. So I would like to say that modern days also, they very rarely you can see some kind of mantras they used Sanskrit mantras, but the pronunciation is not much clear for us as South Asians, but they are using Sanskrit. At the same time, Chinese language also, precisely Chinese Buddhist language, influenced by Sanskrit language. They transliterated some terms because they had no proper terms to translate. As you know, that the great Indian monks called Bodhidharma, he went to China and introduced Buddhism to them. And then during that time, he trained Chinese monks and he worked with them, and they translated the Mahayana text, Sanskrit text, into Chinese. During that time, what they did was they didn't find the proper terms for the suitable terms from Chinese language, and then they transliterated some terms, not completely transliterated. They prepared some terms for following the sounds. For example, paramita. So then they used the term prajna paramita. They translated poro polo mo, something like that. Just they introduce the term somewhat related to the Sanskrit terms. So this is the early Buddhist schools, 4 Buddhist schools, just after deviation number of schools during the time of the great Emperor Ashoka. We know that there are around at least 18 Buddhist schools. Under that, later on, most of the schools were disappeared, and 4 great schools were prominently identified as 4 great Buddhist traditions: Sarvastivada, Sautrantika, Madhyamaka, and Yogachara. Generally, the first 2 derived from those are the part of the Asthaviravada. And also the Madhyamaka and Yogachara, those are part of the Mahasangika. It is very interesting to note that these 4 schools were supported to the development and origin of the Mahayana tradition. Precisely Madhyamaka and Yogachara, at the same time, Sarvastivada and Sautrantika also supported for them. So this is just basic information regarding Sautrantika, Sarvastivada, Madhyamaka, and Yogachara, and their tradition and their great teachers and so on. So I don't want to take much time regarding these points. So now let's move to our discussion directly. So what we have to do regarding to introduce Buddhist Sanskrit program for the beginners, because I'm using my experience, because my Sanskrit was my subsidiary second subject when I was doing my BA. So then now also we are conducting Sanskrit, the beginners level Sanskrit course for the Buddhist studies students, Pali and also the Sanskrit. Therefore, this is kind of sample what we are doing. So then we can, based on that, you can improve your course, whatever you are willing to offer, any kind of beginners level Buddhist Sanskrit course. So fundamental points to prepare a course, I think it depends on your university requirements. I just pointed out in general things here. Generally, you have to introduce your program, and then you have to express about the necessity of the program, why you are going to offer the program, and then the objectives of the program, and the targeted group also very, very useful for us to prepare a program. So adults, so the which kind of beginners, newcomers, maybe diversified newcomers. So whether we are going to offer for the undergraduates or the postgraduate students. So without considering the university academia, are we willing to open program for the many without considering the age limit and so on? So then you have to think which kind of materials you have to use to train them and teach them. So then the admission requirements, so then that also very useful for you to think which kind of things you are going to point it out here. What are the basic requirements to follow this program? So, and also the medium of instruction, Hindi or English or whatever. Course duration, that also very useful to think to prepare a course, because if you are going to offer 6-month course, so then you have to think how many hours you are willing to offer per week, and then how many lessons you can cover within 1 week, and then you have to think how many lessons you need to prepare for a program. So that's why you need to think about the duration, not only month-wise, and also the hour-wise. You have to think about the duration of the program. And then the course fee and payments also very useful for you to think, and because you have to pay for the lecturers, and also the administrative matters, and also the examination, and so on. So teaching methods, need to think lectures. You can use lectures. At the same time, you can think about the blended mode, online and offline, both. Maybe it may be more attractive today. So discussions, take-home assignments, lecture-guided self-studies, and so on. You have a opportunity to think which kind of methods are more useful for your audience. Then the evaluation system, evaluation criteria, A passes, B passes, or whatever. What is the minimum mark to get a pass the course, and so on. Course content, and then you have to think about which kind of content you are going to offer during this 6-month program or the 1-year program. It's up to you. So then the prescribed text, that is also very useful thing to think, because without a textbook, the following a program it will be a little bit difficult for students. They don't know just after first day what is their future, what they have to prepare for their next lessons. So if it is possible to prepare a textbook, or exactly identify your overall project, what are the things you are going to learn within this 6-month or allocated period of time, so then it will be useful for prepare a meaningful and also the attractive program. Then the supplementary readings, except that prescribed text, you can recommend number of supplementary readings. Most are those are which can be useful for the betterment of your candidates as extra readings. So now I would like to say something about the course design. Now we know what we have to do, what are the requirements we have to basically think, and then let's discuss about something course design, what you have to think about the program. So here my understanding is Buddhist Sanskrit also a part of that great subject Sanskrit. So then we don't want to 100% add all those things from the Mahayana doctrine or the modern some kind of Sanskrit text. So but we have to give priority for them. At the same time, then Sanskrit has an ample literature, so then you have to think whether there are possibilities to collect some useful other sources, maybe Ayurveda, maybe Veda, maybe Upanishad. Those are also part of Indian knowledge, even though we are learning Buddhist Sanskrit. So then my understanding is it is better to know something regarding major subject area called Sanskrit as well. Therefore, we can give some kind of some portion for the Sanskrit, major Sanskrit area. That is one thing. And then the how we can prepare this one, I categorize under number three layers. One is simple sentences or the simple verses, selected some Shataka or Upadesha literature. So then just like Teja Durjana Sangsargam, Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam, Kuru Punya Mahoratram, Smaranityam Nityatam, like that. So those are common useful advice, daily can use whoever wish to maintain a happy life. Therefore, this kind of general advices, common knowledge, common understanding can share with students. We don't want to think to collect all those things from the Mahayana literature. If it is possible, you can, but we don't want to be limited only for that. Even though it is Buddhist Sanskrit, so then you can increase that level if you think if it is comfortable, if it is better to add more than 60, that also comfortable. For example, my program in here, I added more than I think 80 for the Buddhist Sanskrit. But it doesn't mean that I'm quoting all those things from the Bodhicharya Avatara, Lalita Vistara, the old text, because we have some Sri Lankan Sanskrit. Therefore, I need to give some kind of understanding for students, Sri Lankan Buddhist Sanskrit as well. That's my understanding. But you don't want to do that because as Indians, there are a number of literature, ample literature. So then you can use that Sanskrit for the betterment of the students, your student. So then at the same time, some verses like Bala Darsha and another small booklets, you can select such a things, Nabaso Bhusanan Chandro, Narinang Bhushanang Patik, and so on. So that is the one thing. This represent very basic level Sanskrit, very easy and also very useful for daily life.
Sorry for interruption. Your slide is not moving.
So what do I have to do?
You need to go to PPT window.
No, I'm in the PPT window, Bipin.
So now you need to just move down.
Can you see now?
Yes, I see your cursor. So now you need to go this slide 1, 2, 3. It is written there.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
No, it is not. Right now it is language categorization.
Oh.
Okay, so you need to go left side.
Left?
Yes. You need to click there. Click there. Right now, this slide is where your cursor is. That slide is showing. You need to go down to show the slide what you need. Okay. Now
is it okay now?
Yeah.
Now,
so you are on 11th. So that's why I was thinking that your slide is not moving.
Are you here?
Yes. That is Sutra.
Yeah. 4 great Buddhist traditions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So now you may move in the same way.
Okay. Let's follow that way. Okay, Bipin. Thank you. Is it visible this side? Fundamental point to prepare a course?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then I have highlighted here 13 points, right? Just I pointed out these slides, spreading Buddhism throughout the Asia. I think you didn't notice this slide, right?
Yes. This is spread of Buddhism.
Yeah. Earlier you didn't.
No. That was stuck.
So here you can see the Theravada, then here the Vajrayana tradition, here Mahayana. These two great traditions.
Sir, please show slide number 3 onwards.
Okay. Just quickly we go through that. Okay. This is the slides. Finally, you have noticed, right? Okay, visible. So then those 3 slides we don't want to worry regarding precisely because I needed to say something. The power of Asia, precisely India. So you created a number of language for the language family in the world. That's why I needed to highlight. So here you can see Buddhism because our key point is here to discuss something about Buddhist Sanskrit. That's why I needed to highlight why we need to learn Buddhist Sanskrit, because that is a part of Indian religion. So, and also we used precisely ancient time, we used 2 languages. One is Pali, that is for Theravada tradition. And then the Sanskrit used for Mahayana and Vajrayana, right? So then this is the part of that Sanskrit literature, Sutra, Shastra, and Tantra. So based on Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit, so we can use those. We can learn. Just after learning Sanskrit, you are qualified to go through these primary sources. So and then we all know that just after the during the time of the Third Buddhist Council, which was sponsored by Great Emperor Ashoka. So there were more around 18 Buddhist schools. 18 Buddhist schools at least. According to some scholars, there are more than that. Anyhow, time being, most of the schools disappeared, and among Theravada and Mahayana, there were Mahasangika. At that time, there was no Mahayana. The 4 great traditions were survived. Among them, Sarvastivada, Sautrantika are under Staviravada, Madhyamaka and Yogachara under Mahasangika. So it is you can pay your attention regarding this, because all the great traditions, they tried to answer the problem Sarva. What is Sarva? Everything. You see, Sarvastivada, they interpreted Sarva as Sarvang Asti. Everything exists in 3 times: present, past, and future. And then the Sautrantika, they said Sarvang Shanikang, everything is instant. It is only this moment. Madhyamaka, Sarvang Sunyam, everything is empty. That's why they introduced the theory called emptiness, Sunyata. And then the Yogachara, Sarvam Manomaya, everything is mind-made. That is called Vijnanavada. Just like the Vijnapti Matrata Siddhi is highlighted that concept. So let's move to the next. Yeah, this is some kind of basic points regarding their history and their great teachers. Then we move to our key area, that is how to prepare a Buddhist Sanskrit program under your guidance. So then under your leadership. So then these 13 points I have basically introduced to you. You have to think. Introduction for the program, and then the requirements, the need, why you need to introduce such a course, and then the objectives, targeted groups, and then the admission requirements, education qualification for the followers, and then the medium of instructions, course duration, 3 months, 6 months, it depends on you. And because the duration, it will help you to think just after following the program, which kind of students you are searching for, right? You have to keep that awareness in your mind to offer the program, the final goal, final nature of the student, right? But which kind of knowledge you are searching from them. And we can't teach everything just teaching 6 months or 3 months program, but you have to think minimum what is the level of that student, right? So that's why we need the course duration, and course fee and payments also useful to run the long-term process to run the program. And teaching methods, now I think today we are also very lucky. I noticed that Professor Bipin's and also the Sudat Singh's organization and their work, they prepared a number of workshops and also the lecture series focusing on that. But I'm not in India, but I also had a chance to join with you, share my understanding with this new area. So because of the blended learning mode, so I think you also can think to introduce this way regarding your newly introduced Sanskrit Buddhist Sanskrit programs. And then the other way also you can think evaluation methods, grading and all those, course content, prescribed text, better to find a text or you can prepare a text for that, and also the supplementary readings, which can be useful for your students to improve their capacity through those readings. And then course design, it's up to you. You can think the percentage of the program that you are willing to allocate for Mahayana Buddhism or the Sanskrit Buddhism. Minimum, I think you have to allocate 60%, because if you are going to label under so-called Buddhist Sanskrit, so then you have to give the priority for that section. So then you can increase if you are willing to do. So it's up to you. For example, the program what I have introduced here, that is around 80% focusing on Buddhist Sanskrit text. So for that, then you can identify 3 layers. Basically, you can improve that one. This is not the final decision. You all are erudite members, so then you can think what are the most suitable ways. Just after following this one as well, you can use as a sample this, but you can think, you are free to think and develop this material according to your requirements. So then my point is, I understood that the one side you can add something regarding common Sanskrit, whatever very useful for daily life, maybe from Ayurveda or from Upanishad or whatever. So you can add some sort of level, and also some, some kind of Upadesha literature, just like Hitopadesha and so on. So you can add some verses, because those verses may be very useful for them to, one hand, to recite. At the same time, it will be easy to use those kind of verses, very useful how to say, presentations. Wherever they need to give some small presentations, those Sanskrit verses may be very, very useful, and their presentation may be very colorful, right? So that's why I highlighted here under number 1. Then number 2, you can select some passages and also the verses from Lalita Vistara. Lalita Vistara is not the Sanskrit, Mahayana Sanskrit text, but it is Sarvastivada Buddhist text. But we have to say that is very beautiful Buddha's life story of the Buddha. So the students, it will be attractive for students, right? And also the Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, it's a typo error. Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, and also the Bodhicharya Avatar, and again, Buddha Charita, the later Buddhist work, just like Asogosha Tera, Saundarananda, and Nagarjuna's Mula Madhyamaka Karika, and Ayurveda text, and Jatakamala, and so on. We have to remove from here Ayurveda, and mantra also may be very useful for you to introduce. So then the grammar, gradually you can think that is same. So there are small changes in very limited differences in Buddhist Sanskrit grammar. So, but basically, very beginning level, you have to teach basic Sanskrit grammar. At the same time, we don't want to separate grammar from the key teachings. It is better to teach together. So then subject area should be covered within this kind of course unit. Basically, I identified at least you have to give a small understanding regarding this area. Sanskrit alphabet, those are completely you have to give. And then cases and noun declension, tenses and verb conjugation, pronouns and numbers, combination, compounds and secondary derivatives, sandhi, samasa and taddhita, and then the gerund and infinitives, and participle, active voice and passive voice, reading and comprehension. These areas should be covered under your program. It's up to you to find a suitable quotations, and also to find a suitable sentences, selected sentences for the students. Here you can see that the lessons, just I prepared 25 lessons for the program. So that is kind of how to say that I have expanded that basic subject areas under 25 lessons, throughout the 25 lessons. You can think maybe 20 or 25 or something like that. You can prepare that one. And then the one thing you have to remember, the targeted group may be young or maybe adult, but you have to remember one thing: all they are newcomers for the language. Therefore, they are beginners for the language. Therefore, you have to be very carefully teach them, like training kids very young age. So you have to give good enough attention for writing a style, a starting point, and all those. Then gradually you can speed up your courses. Then in my program, what I did was I use at the end of all the lessons, I added some verses for as reading practice. I know very beginning it is difficult to understand what it is, but I'm sure we can read those and memorize those. Therefore, I added some useful verses for them. Precisely some verses I quoted from the Buddha Gadya. Here, most of them from the Buddha Gadya. So, very beginning, I added some verses, just the characteristics of the Buddha's speciality, and also we can say the worshipping the Buddha, using his good qualities. It is called Namashta Sataka. There are 108 names, special names for the Buddha. That's why that's Sataka called Namashta Sataka. 108 names for the Buddha, highlighting his compassion and wisdom. Therefore, very beginning, even though they can't understand all Sanskrit, but they can recite these verses to practice as elocution, Sanskrit elocution. So that is the style what I have following for this. So this is the basic discussion here for you. So I'll share one lesson for your awareness. Give me 1 second. So yeah. Wait for a while. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a sample. This is the lesson 7, explaining dative and also the ablative cases. So since this program is precisely focused on Buddhist Sanskrit. So then I highlighted number of terms related to that subject area. So bodhisattva dharmaya charanti, acharyah sishyebhyah shastrani upadishati, and so on. Then I quoted two verses. Paropakaraya palanti vruksha, that also represent in that case. Paropakaraya vahanti nadyah, paropakaraya duhanti gavah, paropakarartamidang sharirang. This is not the Buddhist verse. It is a Hindu verse, but it is very, very beautiful, very useful, common good practice. Therefore, we can use such a terms, and also the acharya padamadatte ablative case, and then padang sishyak somedaya, padang sabrahmacharibhyah padang kalakramenacha. And then I have provided the vocabulary here with the feminine, with the information of the that term, feminine, masculine, and also the gerund and so on. So then gave some kind of a special introduction to that grammar point, dative, chaturthi, and also the panchami ablative, and then the masculine declension, chaturthi, and then I used here to practice a little bit another way. In general, we use the, let's say, the deva. So then we practice only deva. But in this case, I use number of other terms, so students can quickly learn number of terms. So the feminine declension of chaturthi, and also the neuter declension of chaturthi. You know that neuter and masculine is same this case, but I have given because of their students yet, newcomers for the subject. And then the masculine declension of panchami, and then the feminine, and then neuter. After that, exercises. Narah buddhebhyah danang yachanti. So here I used another thing because I used Roman script to read those Devanagari characters, because still we are in the lesson 7. So sometimes students need some support to read those Sanskrit Devanagari. Therefore, just after lesson 8 or 10, I stopped that method and then directly only Sanskrit terms, Sanskrit. That's why we used here Roman letters as well, Roman characters as well, like that. And then the answer the following questions based on 7.1. It means based on this paragraph. Yeah, the reading. So then just after that one, there are another few exercises. After that, reading practices. Reading practice. This is from the Boja Prabandh. Jambu, Phalani, Pakwani, Patanti Vimale Jale, Kapi Kampika Saka, Byah Gulu Gugulu Gugulu. This is from a Buddhist Sanskrit text called, not exactly remember the name, Karna Jalang Jale Naiva Kantake Naiva Kantakam, Rage Naiva Tatharaga Uddharanti Manishina. I have given the Roman letters at the same time meaning of the verses. Very beginning I didn't mention the meaning because at that time they are new for everything. So they are curious to know Sanskrit, just to read something, right? In this case, now if they wish to read the meaning, so they can read the meaning, and they don't want to think the grammar and all those. At least just to understand what the meaning of that verse is enough. So na sansarasya nirvanat kinchidasti visheshanam, na nirvanasya sansarat kinchidasti visheshanam. This is from Mula Madhyamaka Karika. The thing is here, I would like to say, I highlighted two cases, Chaturthi and Panchami. Chaturthi and Panchami. All those verses are also the same. Highlighting, most probably highlighting that main grammar point, Chaturthi and also and Panchami. So this is the basic way. So I would like to share something else with you. In here, Sri Lanka, we are practicing some monasteries. They are practicing some songs, Sanskrit songs. I'll show you. Give me 1 second. Because if you have more young students, it will be more attractive for them. How I can share? I don't know the audio. I'm not sure. Is it audible?
You need to play it.
Okay. Is it audible?
Just click once again. Yes, it is okay.
Okay. So here one more I would like to share with you. So these kind of things may be useful for the young students. So these kind of activities may be attractive for young students. So those are not Buddhist Sanskrit, but it will be useful for them to improve their interest on the subject, towards the subject. And then I would like to say not only that, we can see some kind of Vajrayana nuns. They are singing Sanskrit mantras. That is very beautiful. This is the last one, so then I can wind up and we can have a small discussion.
तब तक आप सबसे निवेदन है कि अपना वीडियो एक बार टर्न ऑन कर लें ताकि आज की उपस्थिति आपकी दर्ज हो जाए आपकी मुखाकृति के साथ, और साथ ही अटेंडेंस जो है वह भी लिंक दे दिया जा रहा है। आज का अटेंडेंस आपके लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, आप जानते ही हैं, क्योंकि आपने परीक्षा में ज्वाइन किया था आज, तो इसलिए सभी के लिए महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा। ओके।
So this is the mantra called Avalokiteshvara mantra. Just after this, I'll show that Sanskrit mantra, but I'm sure you can't follow the pronunciation, the Tibetan pronunciation. Let's try the beautiful mantra. Beautiful mantra.
It's the mantra of Compassion Buddha. We strongly believe that the power of this mantra is very strong to bless us with an ability to develop one's own compassionate qualities through which we will not only be able to heal oneself, but we will be able to heal others too. Namo Sarvaya Dadhaya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhe Namo Diya Adokya Shvaraya Bodhisattvaya Mahaya Sattvaya Adhunikaya
So I think you can understand the beauty of the language, Sanskrit language. This is the mantra, just you can go through that. Venerable Nun just now chanted. So this is one of the very beautiful area you can cover, and you can give kind of awareness for your students. This is the mantra. Yeah. Namo Ratnatrayaya, Namo Arya Jnana Sagar Vairochan Bihara Jara Tathagataya, and so on. So these are some kind of how to say, the hidden meaning terms. So Dhara Dhara Diri Diri Duru Duru, and so on. So this is also a very popular mantra in Mahayana Buddhism, even in China and other countries too. So finally, in my case, we have a very beautiful beautiful work in Sri Lanka that is around 41 verses. There's a small booklet. This one, it is called Buddha Gadya. So students, even though they don't know Sanskrit, but this is about the Buddha's qualities. They are appreciating the qualities of the Buddha. So every week I would like to chant with them two, three verses. So they prefer to at least join for the classes, even though they don't know much Chinese, much Sanskrit, but they prefer to join and sing these poems. I'll sing one and then we'll wind up the session. Kama prabhatar rochirdinesh Hema prabha shobasho mana pradesh Syama prabha purana narga kesh Vyama prabha loka loka prakash. It is like that. There are very beautiful verses from this small booklet called Buddha Gadya, written in Sri Lanka. But it is not yet published in India. I think it is better, Bipin, we have to think this kind of work as well. Sri Lankan Buddhist Sanskrit, not yet published in India. So we have a chance to do this kind of work as well. So this is the very brief introduction how to prepare a beginner's level Sanskrit Buddhist Sanskrit program for your audience. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bipin, for inviting, and also Professor Sudant Singh introducing and encouraging us to do many things always. Thank you so much, and also all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You have nicely presented your PPTs along with videos and your own song. So that is really interesting, and I have seen that you have classified your lecture in different segments. Specifically, that is language categorization and spreading Buddhist texts and related to hybrid Sanskrit. In the same way, how to create a course for that, fundamental points to design a course, what will be the crux of those course. Each and everything you have mentioned nicely. So at the end of this session, I would like to invite again Professor Vidipsudan sir to for vote of thanks. Before that, I have I have informations regarding tomorrow's program. So I am just informing participants. ये आप लोगों के लिए एक सूचना थी कि कल तो अनिवार्य रूप से आप लोग जुड़ेंगे ही 2:30 से 4 के बीच में अनिवार्य रूप से सभी को रहना है। उसमें अनुभव कथन के लिए एक सेगमेंट बनाया गया है जिसमें कि जिन लोगों का नाम चयन किया गया है उनका नाम मैं बोल रहा हूं। अगर आप सहमत हों कल आप उपस्थित होकर के अनुभव कथन 2 मिनट के लिए हमारे जो अतिथि होंगे उनके सामने में अगर आप अनुभव कथन करना चाहते हैं तो आप केवल हैंड रेज यहाँ पर करेंगे। मैं नाम बता रहा हूँ जिन जिनका नाम सेलेक्ट किया गया है। अलग अलग स्टेट से हमने लिया है। फ्रॉम असम नूरिमा, सानू, मैत्री, प्रणव, इनमें से जो भी एग्री हैं वो हैंड रेज करेंगे ताकि उनका नाम हम फाइनल करेंगे। मैत्री, ठीक है, नूरिमा, सानू, मैत्री, ओके, फ्रॉम असम। असम से जितने थे उनमें से 4 का नाम ये सेलेक्ट किया गया था। बिहार से केशवनाथ झा, अभी यहाँ पर सब जुड़े नहीं हैं। केशवनाथ झा, ये उन्हीं का नाम है जो रेगुलर जुड़ते हैं। दिल्ली से हरीश नागपाल मैडम जो है उनका नाम है इंदु सोनी और स्वीटी रानी, ये 3 लोग हैं यहाँ पर। अन्य सभी हैंड डाउन कर लेंगे। हरीश मैडम यहाँ पर हैं, इंदु सोनी नहीं है। चलिए उसके बाद हम हिमाचल से मनोज श्रीमाल, मनोज श्रीमाल जी हैं अभी यहाँ पर। इंदु सोनी है, ठीक है। मनोज श्रीमाल ये शायद यहाँ पर उपस्थित नहीं है। उसके बाद अमित भार्गव मांगले और दीपलता, ये कर्नाटका से शायद है। वरद मांगले, श्री वरद मांगले, अमित भार्गव और अमित भार्गव हैं यहाँ पर। डॉक्टर दीपलता, डॉक्टर दीपलता बोली हैं, ठीक है
जी सर,
ठीक है।
जी प्रणाम सर।
तमिलनाडु से उमा माहेश्वरी, तमिलनाडु से उमा माहेश्वरी नहीं है यहाँ पर। आंध्रा से सविता आर्या नहीं है। उसके बाद हम आते हैं यूपी से, हम देखते हैं संगम वाजपेयी, सोनल, अमिता सिंह, लक्ष्मी शर्मा।
सर
संगम वाजपेयी है। सोनल सिंह, सोनल सिंह थी अभी, चलिए हैंड नहीं किया है तो नहीं है। हाँ, अमिता सिंह ये है। लक्ष्मी शर्मा आप तो ऑफलाइन में रहेंगी यहाँ पर, तो आप हैं यहाँ पर हैं। केवल सोनल सिंह इसमें जी हैं। उसके बाद उड़ीसा से राजश्री पाढ़ी, ज्योति प्रसाद दास, राजश्री पाढ़ी, ज्योति प्रसाद दास यहाँ पर उपलब्ध नहीं है, ठीक है। हाँ, ज्योति प्रसाद है, ठीक है। हाँ, हैंड रेज करेंगे केवल आप, हाँ सहमति, ताकि हम निश्चिंत होंगे। आपका फाइनल लिस्ट ग्रुप में डालेंगे। कर्नाटका से अरुण भट्ट, कर्नाटका से अरुण भट्ट। केरल से राधिका पीआर, अभी एक तमिलनाडु से एक हाँ राधिका पियार, हाँ उन्होंने और तमिलनाडु से, हाँ तमिलनाडु से घूमा। चलिए इतने लोगों का है, जब हम जितने लोगों ने हैंड रेज किया है उनका नाम ग्रुप में डाल दिया जा रहा है। कल अनुभव कथन के लिए 2 मिनट का मात्र टाइम रहेगा हमारे पास। हमारे जितने भी अतिथि रहेंगे उनके समक्ष आपका क्या अनुभव है ये। हाँ, स्टूडेंट्स में से हमने यहाँ पर दिया है चक्रदत्त, प्रिया, रोहित, निधि, ये रहेंगे और नाम दे दो घट बढ़ सकता है, आगे देखेंगे। ठीक है, तो देन नाउ
सर ये 2:30 बजे से रहेगा।
2:30 बजे से रहेगा और इसकी टाइमिंग जो होगी वो भी ग्रुप में अभी शेयर कर दी जा रही है, कितने बजे से ये होना है अनुभव कथन। तो प्लीज जिनका नाम है वो अनिवार्य रूप से रहें, क्योंकि अगर नहीं है तो आज ही आप बता देंगे, ताकि उसमें नाम लेने के बाद अनुपस्थिति नहीं होनी चाहिए प्लीज। ठीक है, तो इसीलिए इसको सिस्टमेटिक हम कर रहे हैं इसको। चलिए आगे हम बढ़ते हैं। तो नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट प्रोफेसर डिपसूदन सिंह सर फॉर वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। Professor Ripusudan Singh sir, I think again the same issue is there. This issue is not only for नहीं होंगे, नेटवर्क नहीं होगा, नहीं। Okay, so now this is time for question and answer. If you question session, if you have any question, any doubt, so you may ask question to Professor Vimal Hevangme ji. हाँ सर, पहले प्रश्न ले लेते हैं, अगर कुछ कोई प्रश्न है तो। उसके बाद रिपु सर आवाज आ रही है मेरी? हाँ, ये आप अनम्यूट हैं, पहले प्रश्न ले रहे हैं। जिस किसी को कोई प्रश्न हो आप पूछ सकते हैं। आप हिंदी, अंग्रेजी, संस्कृत किसी भाषा में पूछ सकते हैं, उत्तर आपको अंग्रेजी में दिया जाएगा। अगर किसी को कोई प्रश्न है। ओके, प्रोफेसर हरीश नागपाल जी, शी इज प्रोफेसर एट करोड़ीमल कॉलेज which is under Delhi University. So he is the senior most participant in this these sessions. So
and without fail, regular participation.
Regular participation.
Most obedient. Source
Thank
of
you, sir.
inspiration for the rest of the people.
Sir, I just want to thank Professor Sir for this beautiful and interesting and valuable lecture on Introduction to Buddhist Sanskrit. And sir, my just small query is that in similar fashion, we can also make course on Introduction to Buddhist Pali, because most of the teachings of Mahatma Buddha are in Pali language only. And sir, my query is, there is one chanting the Buddhist people always chant, Namyoho Renge Kyo. I just want the explanation of this mantra, if you please. Thank you, sir.
Unmute, sir. Please unmute.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your question. That Namyo Renge Kyo is not Pali or Sanskrit. It is, I think, turned to already. Namyo is related, the term we derived from Namo, but it is not Sanskrit term now. I'm not exactly sure the exact meaning. That is kind of appreciation of the Bodhisattva. Namyo Renge Kyo. It is using by Japanese Buddhism. But I think if it is possible to just through Google, I think there may be meaning. Namyo Renge Kyo. That is not Pali or Sanskrit. Yeah. At the same time, I think for the Pali, it is possible. It is easy for that because Pali is the major language for Buddha's teachings. In brief, Sanskrit, there are a number of Hindu texts. That is the first thing. But Buddhism they use later. But Pali basically the language that was used by the Buddha to introduce his understanding, his Dhamma. Yeah. Therefore, it is very easy to do that. I have already written a book for Pali, Introduction to Pali. But Introduction to Buddhist Sanskrit, I'm still working. I'm still learning and working with my students, improving the text.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
madam. Thank you, madam.
Madam, the meaning is devotion to the mystic law of the Lotus Sutra. Glory to the dharma of the Lotus Sutra.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Any question? Any other?
If you have any query, you may ask. Otherwise, now we will continue for vote of thanks. So because the next classes will resume at 5 p.m., which is nearby. So now may I request Professor Ripsudan Singh sir for vote of thanks, and I would like to request to conclude before 5, sir.
I really, I'm so thankful to Professor Bimal, but I will thank this Bipin also that after tomorrow or maybe after day after tomorrow, he will spare me for because since morning till say 7 or maybe till 8, and sometimes we sit here till 9 also discussing, debating. So I'm managing my Department of Political Science and my own study with Sanskrit. But working with Vipin has been very, very interesting. Sometime I think that after tomorrow, I think we will be rendered jobless, workless almost. So again, coming back to the last ritual, or you can say the last thing which I have to do, as I have already told that Bimal, Professor Bimal, I found him really scholarly, and the way he presented that course, basically about Buddhism and Sanskrit literature and Buddhism. That is a new area, and he elaborated so beautifully. It was really worth learning, and the entire lecture was enlightening. I know that once he comes to us and in a physical mode, we are planning such things in which more than 100 scholars will gather in my university, and we will request Professor Bimal also to be physically present here, and then interact. Apart from this formal lecture, we can interact, we can learn. I really enjoyed in my Sri Lanka tour. I interacted with Bimal and I learned more by interacting with his other friends also. It was really enlightening, and the way they received us, they had invited people from all over the world almost, and managing and then interacting in different languages. And I found Bimal ji is well versed with Hindi also. He can sing. He sang some Hindi song for me also, and his friends also equally. They are well versed with Hindi. We are basically culturally we are the same. There are people because of political regions, they differentiate between Sri Lanka and India, but basically culturally and as a nation we have been one and we are one, and that is our strength, and maybe because of that there is a very natural respect for the people coming from Sri Lanka, maybe vice versa also. So once again I welcome and I thank you for sparing valuable time and interacting with our scholars from India. And we hope that this association will continue till at least we attain our 100 years. I always wish everybody to attain 100 years. So still we have a lot of time and we have to work with full energy. And I saw in you person so young person, and maybe you will continue to be young till 100 years, because I hope that I will be young till 100 years, and I will cheat sometimes so that I can even cross 100 years also, maybe 110 years. So with this word, I once again I thank you, and thank you very much.
Sir, you have reduced 20 years. It is Vinchotri Ayu, 120 years.
Thank you.
Sir, we would love to hear more lectures from Professor Bimal sir. It was really very interesting and valuable lecture. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to
Thank you, sir.
conclude this session, because we need to resume another class, that is short-term program Sanskrit language. So once again, thank to you, Professor Vimal Hebangmi Mohoday. And now I am just closing this session.
One more thing I would like to add, that probably I don't see whether he's eating also or not, Vimal. This Bipin. Last 1 month he's not eating at all, but full of energy. Maybe because the driving force is Sanskrit and the literature. That is his driving force, and I wish that he should continue with that force. Thank you.
We are always with him. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, namaste. Because we have time limitations, that's why I am just
टाइम हम लोग क्रॉस कर गए. ठीक है.
thank you.